grenades and a grenade launcher, yeah, you're dead. So what you want to do here is instead of going through the river like I just did, you want to take this path, which helps to protect you from some guys, as well as allows you to run over some grunts as they get shot, and then you can kind of surprise the brute with the brute shot, run him over, run over the grunt. Doing a pretty good job here running people over. I have to imagine if you are a Marine Corps person who's designing the Warthog, you made not only a very powerful thing that seems to be very good against Covenant forces, but you also have to make that front end pretty robust, as I don't believe Covenant are quite like here where you can just run them over with your tractor trailer and have them explode in blood all over the highway. I have to imagine they would get caught in your wheels and shit, and that would be kind of annoying to deal with. So you must have made that front end in such a way that stuff doesn't get caught in your wheel, under your wheel. I died again. Try not to do that. Getting a little too aggressive, I think. Or east of miles. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to actually give a distance, because it's like, I don't feel like I drove 15 miles. I feel like I drove like maybe 2 miles. If you look over to the left side, not in screen right now, was briefly. There's a tunnel there that's got a barrier, like a plasma barrier around it, Covenant barrier. One of a couple areas that act as a roadblock for me. So you have to, I wouldn't say you have to defeat these guys per se, but you'll get overwhelmed pretty easily if you try to go into the tunnel, because as soon as you go in the tunnel, it spawns more of the swarm enemies. So, and I'm also checking these warthogs to see if maybe one of the warthogs has the super awesome plasma shooter upgrade that just fucking wrecks everything. Like, I'm not saying that the regular warthog with the regular chain gun isn't good, but when one of those things with the plasma things fires, if it shoots a guy, it's dead. If it shoots a vehicle, it's dead after 2 shots. So that's sort of why I'm looking. I don't know. I don't remember if any of those exist. Well, we won't necessarily say in this game, but like, I'm not sure if any of them exist in this game, or if they do, maybe it's a later level. But anytime I'm able to use one of those plasma warthogs, I will pick it up and try to use it, because that shit is fucking OP. There's a guy up there. You shoot a thing enough, it will come down and kill them. What I have to do is I have to physically walk beyond the barrier, because my vehicle will not go through the barrier, but I can go through the barrier, shoot the thing that's on the other side of it, or use a plasma grenade or regular grenade, and then you can drive through here. Unfortunately, I have 0 health now because here comes the swarm. Fuck it, right? I love the little swarm guys. They're all like, "Hey guys, what are you doing? Here to shoot you, it's cool, right? Just hanging out, whatever. And, you know, being a prick."
That crazy son of a bitch.
Haha, you got killed. I shot you to death. Ha 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 ha. I don't care for that gun, even though you can double fist it. You see that shot? I put it right through the hole. Now he's dead. I wish I could shoot through this thing so I could stay safe, but I am not gonna get to do that. Get to go on the other side like a prick. Like an ass. So, anywho. I'd love to use this turret as well, but the swarm will overwhelm me before I get a chance to do that. So I basically want to just blow up the barrier and hopefully escape here and hide behind this rock if preferred. Shield comes back, will be good. Looks like they took my warthog and are using it for nefarious purposes. And by nefarious purposes, I actually mean noble, good purposes where they're driving around and killing swarm, hopefully, while I cowered like a little babby up here on the rock.
You're mine. I'm hit.
Thank you, sir.
I was tired of
I will
driving.
take over driving duty, thank you. Please get out of my way so I do not accidentally run you over. Thank you. Now we're going to drive through the tunnel here that we just created. Don't really care about any of you guys. Come out on the other side of the tunnel that has clearly been screwed, destroyed, beaten to hell.
Commander,
And this should be a dead-end roadblock.
Say again, Recon? You're breaking up.
Something in the crater, ma'am. Something beneath the storm.
So you can see there's in the distance there's the prophet ship that kind of looks like a, I don't know what you want to call it, flying Eiffel Tower, kind of. Not really, but you know, that's me trying to force my way through the blockade, which is not going to happen, as I think I've officially gotten my truck stuck in the geometry, so that's an edge. Ugh. Let me ask a question. What is your favorite Halo game? Is it Halo 1? Is it Reach? You picked either one of those, I respect you. You pick 2, I can respect you to a smaller degree. You pick 3, only if you've only played 3 will I respect that. Halo ODST you've never played. I've never played, though I've not really been all that motivated to play it either, because it kind of just existed in my peripheral vision. Never really existed as a game that seemed to stand out as being something that everybody needs to play. So I did eventually stop off at GameStop and pick up a copy for like $10 back in the day, after the 360 had long died, just because it was the only physical game that I did not own from the series at that point. Now I don't really care because nobody owns physical games anymore. I mean, they do. It's just, it's so like bullshit. You can own a physical game. I mean, I own a number of physical games for the Switch, but they seem to act nothing more than a key card that you plop into your console and then it downloads the game in the background. Because guess what? The key card they gave you is only big enough to store, I wouldn't say basic data, it probably stores enough to run the game, I imagine. But it doesn't, you know, obviously it just, all it does is it looks for the day 1 patch. So even if you get the game on day 1, there's probably a patch you gotta download because the game was published and they probably continue to polish it as you, what a retard. Continue to polish the game, as, you know, after publishing, before the game actually goes live. Find that last, what do you call it, bug or glitch, and, you know, patch that out. I kind of feel bad for people that maybe want to play these games later on, that don't necessarily have the ability to download a patch. I mean, like, okay, you're gonna pick a Nintendo game, okay? There's probably a pretty good chance that if it's a Zelda or Kirby or any other Nintendo franchise, that has had multiple entries that have gone beyond the NES, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to be able to play those games in some capacity, in some anniversary collection, in the future. If you're going to pick up and play, I don't know, let's pick an early Switch game. They made a Bomberman game for the Switch. There's a good chance that after the Switch is dead, has ended its run, there's a good chance that when the Switch servers that have the patches on them go down, you're not really going to be able to play the game anymore. You're just going to kind of get a bastardized version of the game because nobody carries the patch anymore, which means you're not only missing out on content, you're missing out on quality life improvements, and worse yet, you possibly are missing out on wholesale changes to the game. And I've mentioned this before, the game EU4, Europa Universal 4, is a completely different game now than it was when it premiered. Not only are there more everything, there's more districts, whatever you want to call them, counties, areas for you to have to capture, but there are whole new mechanics that are introduced that make the game completely different than when you played it when the game first came out in its vanilla form. If you play fucking the other one I always talk about is if you play Civ 5, if you play the original version of Civ 5, that game is they completely rework what is it? There's a couple different victory types. There's monetary, which stayed the same. Military, which of course stayed the same. You have diplomatic, which is a little different, I think, than the original, but not enough for it to really matter. But you have a cultural victory that they had to completely rewrite because it was just the natural progression of the game was you are eventually going to get enough culture points that you're probably going to reach a cultural victory before you reach any of the other victories, including a scientific one, which requires a lot of science points and a lot of time in the, a lot of years to pass in the game. But you're going to more than likely run into a cultural victory. They reworked the whole cultural victory thing completely, which I don't necessarily dislike what they ended up with, but they completely gutted the rest of the cultural thing, which is you're going to start out and you're going to be able to start out with sort of a very basic government system, which is a monarchy, not even a monarchy. It's like, the whole pharaoh thing where you're not only the ruler of your area, but you're also a god. You can make yourself like a god king, if you will, and then you can then other societal advances come along, like you can make a society that's based on the sea, so you have like a maritime. You can have like a society that's based on a number of other things. I can't really think of all of them. Obviously you have a warrior-based society, and you can choose between these things, and they give you bonuses and buffs to your, whatever you choose to prioritize. Okay, great. When they rewrote the cultural victory, they kind of nerfed all that. So towards the end of the old Civ 5 thing, you would join one of three factions. You would either join the communists, the fascists, or the democracy, if you will. And depending on which one of the three you chose as your last, you couldn't mix and match. You had to choose one of the three, because once you selected one of them, the other two grayed out. You couldn't reselect them without essentially abandoning the entirety of everything that you invested your time in order to switch from, say, a democracy to a communist. And those gave you certain advantages, like if you chose fascist, you were essentially trying to go for a military victory. If you were a democracy, you were trying to go for like either a cultural victory or a diplomatic victory, and then, or maybe even, I don't know Civ 5 well enough to know what those exactly pointed to, but I really like those. And then you would gain allies or enemies based on what you finally chose. So if you and a neighboring nation both chose democracy, you were more likely to be a friendly nations than if you chose democracy and they chose fascism. So that also made the game sort of interesting, because not 100% sure if certain nations were pre-programmed to go a certain route, but I have to imagine that if you had, say, a civilization that was sort of militarily focused, like the Aztecs in most in most Civ games are designed to be sort of a warmongering faction. In a lot of cases, particularly Civ 5, they don't last very long because they're so war-centric that they end up essentially warring themselves to death, or they gather too many enemies and they end up ganging up on them in a quote-unquote coalition war and end up getting wiped out. Or essentially they tend to act like a bully until a bigger bully comes along and cleans the floor with them, and then they don't exist anymore. So, but there's my rant on Civ 5, and like I said, EU4 has been going on for like a decade. So any idea that EU4 of a decade ago would look, after so many patches, after so many, DLC upgrades, that it would look anything like it did originally is preposterous. I mean, the only thing, on the one hand, you've essentially taken EU4 and turned it into EU5. You've essentially gotten EU5 through a series of patches and downloadable content that you've paid for. But at the same time, don't go and fucking buy EU4 at full price. And don't buy all the DLCs at full price. You're talking a game that is probably bloated. If it's not constantly on a discount or a sale, that game has probably been bloated into like a $200-300 venture now with all the DLCs. Alright, so we're coming towards the end of this mission, but this is unfortunately where the mission sort of ramps up in difficulty. So you've got drop ships dropping off not only Wraith tanks, which I don't have a Scorpion or anything related to that level of let's take on a Scorpion tank. Plus, you still got these guys who aren't terribly difficult to deal with, but don't roll your Banshee. You're dead if you do. But if we can get popped by the Wraith tanks here, we've got pretty much a straight shot to the end of this level. Unfortunately, there are two Wraith tanks. One's up on the highway, and the other one is sort of tends to move its way down into this field area here. So we're gonna try to maneuver our ass around it if we can. Not easy, I know. You don't have to tell me twice. I do love this music in this game. They do recycle most of the music is recycled from the other earlier two games. But if you got a banger, you know, you're gonna, well, I'll just say in Western games, you're gonna replay that shit whenever possible. Haha, you got stuck. What a dumbass. Alright, we're just gonna run away now. Yes, I want this song in every Halo game, period. Even if it's just for something stupid. So, if we go to the left in that little grassy area, it's actually a super great sniper area. If you can get past here and blow this up, this does end the mission. But I believe you also have to take care of any brutes that happen to be standing around here. So if I can kill this brute, I might pass the level, but I obviously did not do it there. So we're gonna try something a little different this time. I'm gonna hop out after I run over a couple of these guys. I'm gonna hop out so that we can focus on getting rid of these guys. Hello, Mr. Pack Jumpers. You suck. Please die. There, you ran right into my grenade. Thank you. Oh, hey, do you like assault rifle? I like assault rifle. That's my debate. Blah 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 blah. I found out that not sure what enemy they used it for, but they recorded a pug's, you know, like jaw snorting bullshit. Finally, dickhead. I do like this big fucking spike bayonet thing that's on its back. It's just like, I'm gonna throw the back end of the butt up, but it's gonna actually be a big fucking metal spike in your face. And like I said, this is the sniper spot. They do give you a free plasma rifle, sniper, whatever. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna sort of stand around, find people's brains, and try to put, you know, try to one-shot, one-kill them, essentially, if possible. As you can see, I killed the first guy, or I thought I killed both those guys. I don't know if that actually killed them or just blew off their shields. Yes, yes. Someone's being a naughty, naughty boy. Not good to be naughty like that. Alright, so we're just gonna pick off the rest of these guys, I guess. And then after that, that'll be the end of this mission. So let's do that. Hey, dude. Oh, I shot you. Guess I missed your head by just a little bit. Yeah, this isn't super great against killing grunts there. You're trying to find where their head is. And as you can see, that guy doesn't have any armor, so they don't have armor, just shoot them wherever, they'll die. Usually. If I was smart, I'd go up in that crow's nest. But I don't know if that would make me an easy target or not. I kind of zoom in here. I need you to, if you could, step out from behind the barrier there, that'd be great. Thanks, dude. I needed that. Put this right there between your eyeballs. There we go. Yeah, you're not gonna die in one hit. That's okay. Just do that again, and I knocked your armor off. That's great. So, with the armor off, I should be able to take you out with this. Because without your armor, you happen to get hit by, say, a rifle like this, and it happens to go towards where your what do you call that, brain cap is. the thing that brain helmet, it'll more or less kill you. Of course, if I stick you with grenades, you're dead as well. So, you dick. Someone's stupid. Hi. Yep, just needed to put that on your brain stem. No armor, no armor, obviously. And that's the end of the level. So I'm going to cut it here. When we come back, we're going to be
Lord
doing
Hood,
the next
you
mission.
made it.
Until then, I hope you guys have a good one.
What about the Ark?
Did you just call him Lord Hood?
And we don't have much time. Brains? The prophet
Okay.
of truth doesn't know it yet, but he's about to get kicked right off his throne. You will take our city
Hoorah!
and drive our enemy into the graves they've been so happily digging. One final effort is all that remains.